Okay. Well, welcome Marie and Pat to this week's, or this month, I should say, In With the Lunch Crowd. Today's speaker we have with us today is Tad Shirey. He's the principal owner of Insurance Services United. Tad and his company have been a diamond sponsor of PAVI since our inception in 2012. Tad, thank you very much for all that you've done for PAVI and being such a strong supporter. Tad today is going to be talking about cyber insurance. So can everybody see my screen that has the agenda of some of the things that Tad's going to be talking about? Okay. I've got one more Julie. Julie's with the apple butter in. So let me welcome her. Hi, Julie. Hi, Julie. Okay, we're just getting started. So I just introduced Tad Shirey, who's the principal owner of Insurance Services United. Okay, Tad, go ahead and the floor is all yours.
Sounds good. Thank you for having me. Hope everybody's doing well, enjoying the nice hot summer.
Yeah.
All right, so I just put together a couple bullet points, a little agenda just to kind of go down through, because I normally ends up being a lot of questions after the fact. So so when it comes to cyber liability or data breach coverages, these are the different items that happen, or and how then the insurance responds to them. So first one is just privacy breach response. So obviously this is if, now also remember, this isn't just for B&Bs, this is for insurance agencies or doctors' offices. So it's kind of, it's broad. So some may pertain to you more than others. So normally in a privacy breach response, obviously the first thing you would do if you have an IT company would be contact them. Hey, this happened. What do we do next? Obviously, under the insurance, your IT company is going to end up sending you an invoice for any services that they have to do. So that's where that coverage comes in. You could end up having some legal fees or services that you have to deal with, whether it's fines or fees for not protecting the data, or whether it's contacting your lawyer to say, okay, what do I do next? Because now this information of my clients is out on the web or in the wrong hands. So again, that is part of the coverage that's built in. Then you have a public relations or crisis management, where, you know, now that this data has been breached, you'd probably work with your marketing firm to figure out a way how to get information out of what happened, why it happened, what you're doing to keep it from getting worse. So you're going to have other costs in there, which again comes down then to your notification mitigation services. So there's just a lot of items that kind of come together once that data has been breached. And again, it can be for B&Bs, you know, they get access to emails, addresses, any types of payment information, and so forth. So that's where that portion of the coverage comes in. The next one there is cyber extortion. This is becoming a bigger and bigger issue with companies. So basically, these hackers are getting access to your system. They are locking it down and requesting a payment. Once you pay that, they will unlock it and go away. Just had one that happened maybe a year ago where they had to pay $100,000 to get their system unlocked. Now you say, well, why would you pay them that money? Well, it would cost more to try to redo all of your systems and transfer them than it would be to pay that 100,000. Then you say, well, what if they don't pay the 100,000? Well, the hackers will unlock it once you pay them because that's what they want to keep doing. And so they want to make sure that they are doing what they say they're going to do. And it is happening. It is becoming more and more of an issue. Next section, data
Ted,
protection. Yep.
Ted, no, sorry to interrupt you, but
Yeah.
just out of curiosity, how many, I mean, I think we've all read in the paper, it's been like larger companies that they're going after people they know who can pay. Have you seen any of that happening to bed and breakfast? Have you had any of your bed and breakfast customers or larger inns?
At this point, no.
Okay. I agree with you. It's on the rise. God knows, you know that, but you know, I think they're tending to you know, go after those that have a little bit deeper pockets. Okay.
Correct. And that's kind of like when I was saying, some of these may apply to you, some of them may not, or may apply to B&Bs, and some of them maybe not as much. You know, the privacy breach where, you know, they come in and take emails and now they're sending out fraudulent emails to all of your B&B guests. That's probably more of a likely scenario than them shutting down your management system. Like for me, if they lock down my management system software, we can't do anything. It would be a major problem. So yeah, so
Yeah,
that
and
one.
yeah, for the privacy breach, we've had a number of innkeepers that have had their email hacked, you know, and somebody got a hold of it and, you know, started sending, you know, crazy emails to all their guests. Or, you know, I just got one from a guest and it was like some invoice. Now I don't open it, you know, or any attachments, but you know, when I emailed them, I'm like, I don't think I should have gone there. Like, oh no, our email was hacked. So
Right, exactly. And that one, then it kind of comes into the data protection where basically because they've now hacked that system or locked it down, you know, now the data, you can't either access it or they make it corrupt. And when they're making it corrupt, most of them are just looking to cause problems, not necessarily looking for the extortion part of it. But so that's a piece of the puzzle as well. Then you throw in the business interruption. If you can't access your system, I guess you'd have to go to old school and writing down the guests' names and numbers on a calendar and when they're coming, which I'm sure would be inconvenient for you. So also, if they can't get a hold of you, now your booking system isn't working, so they go on, can't book, and so they think, oh well, you must not be open or so forth. So there's going to be a loss of business through that. Fraudulent instructions. So just had this happen the other day or other month. One of my customers, an employee received a email or text, I'm not sure which one it was, and it was from the president of the company, and it was requesting him to place this order, buy this, what was it? I think they were buying something on Amazon. Well, it really didn't come from the president. It came from somebody else, and they were out $10,000 because the employee placed this order that they shouldn't have. So that one, the email or text is definitely happening now. Electronic crime, I'm not sure. I mean, it's basically somebody hacking in and transferring money when they shouldn't, or shouldn't have access, but it does happen, not as often. Again, maybe for this a B&B, but more for larger corporations. Last one then is defense costs. So you have, again, from my end, I hold a lot of date of birth, socials, driver's license numbers, so forth. So I could end up be getting sued by my clients because I'm holding all this information that I let somebody hack. And so now I have people suing me, and that's where the lawyer's fees for that portion come in. And for all these coverages with cyber liability and data breach, there's different levels of coverage you can buy. So some of them start low, that even at 10,000, then it goes to 20,000, 50,000. So it's not like you have to buy $1 million right out the gate. But most carriers, insurance companies now will at least be able to provide some level of cyber liability coverage on their base policies. It is still relatively new. I would say it's only really been a couple years since this been out, and it probably hasn't caught on as quick as it should have. But I think obviously you asking about it and wanting to hear a little bit more about it is a sign that more and more business owners are becoming aware of it.
Ted, let me ask you this. So those let's say you had a $20,000 policy.
Mm-hmm.
I take it that, if any one of these things, and I would think, it would be this privacy breach that would happen to most B&Bs, if anything, hacking their emails, that type of thing. Would the coverage then take care of some of these things?
Yeah, it would.
As far as, because most innkeepers don't have an IT company, they don't have a marketing company,
Right.
they would need assistance, like maybe our larger inns do, but they would, in a lot of respects, many of them are, they had somebody come and set up their computers, or, they're relying on their webmaster, and booking engine provider to make sure that they're PCI compliant and stuff. But I'm assuming that the insurance, they would kick in and help them deal with these types of issues.
So they would step in and pay up to that $20,000 limit, but they're not going to have IT people on staff to say, this is what you need to do. Then you would need to reach out to some type of IT company or somebody that could help with that. Obviously, I'm sure they've dealt with lawyers, so that portion is fine. In terms of, the public relations, something they could probably do on their own.
But if I'm understanding correctly, the innkeeper they would get the money from the insurance company, but they would have to go through the steps of
Correct.
rectifying the issue. And I guess what I was asking is that the insurance company would give a little bit of guidance.
Oh, yeah. So they're going to give you some guidance, but they're not actually going to perform the IT or the legal, and they're not actually going to do it. So basically they're going to say, yep, go find somebody that can help you out, and then send us the invoice because you have coverage up to $20,000 or whatever the amount is. Yeah. And I agree. That one is probably the most possible one of happening out of these.
Yeah, we have our upcoming conference, and I just made some notes that's here in November. So I'm gonna, we have a gentleman that does credit card processing, but he also is very knowledgeable about the cyber. And he has, a lot of knowledge of, giving guidance on how do you protect yourself as innkeepers. He's talked a lot in that space. So I made a note to maybe have him come down there to just arm people that, God forbid it should happen, that they at least have some inkling
Sure.
of how to rectify it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Any,
Any
go ahead,
questions?
Ted. You have other stuff?
No, just any questions from anybody?
let me ask you this while people are thinking of their questions. Do you have any current B&Bs that have taken out the cyber insurance?
Yes.
Okay. And what typically are they? I mean, what are we talking cost wise? I mean, are they typically doing the 10 or the 20,000 or?
Yeah, I think every carrier is slightly different, but yeah, I think it's 25,000. And I don't know if you're doing both of them, it's probably $300-400 a year, somewhere in that range.
For what that for the
The
cyber
cyber and the
identity
data
data
breach. Yeah,
Okay.
yes.
So it's running, you said on average, no, and not every carrier is different, about $300 to $400 more
Yeah,
as part of
roughly.
their premium. Okay.
Correct. Correct.
Do the insurance companies keep any kind of list of IT professionals, somebody who's certified, anything like that?
I'm sure there's adjusters that only deal with the cyber and data breach coverage and that they could refer. It depends where they're located. I don't know offhand. I mean, that's something I could ask one of our carriers, but just like they have some preferred vendors for remediation, like if a house would burn down, I'm sure they have some preferred vendors there. They would for this coverage as well. Being that it's newer, I don't know how extensive that list is, and maybe they're not in your area. So, but I can check on that.
Thank you.
I was waiting to hear, thanks Rose for asking the question about the cost for it. I looked into this when I was still working full time, and I was a VP for finance at a college. And we did implement it, and it was a tiny little private college. It was quite an investment, but less so than the investment would be to remediate a problem if it happened.
Right.
$400, depending on your revenue stream, does not sound like a huge amount of money.
Yeah, and that's a good way of putting it. Oh, sorry, Tad. That's a good way of putting it, Pat, is people often forget, they look at the initial cost, but they don't think about, well, if I do have a problem and I have to remediate it, what's that cost going to be?
Yeah.
Sorry, Tad, that I interrupted you.
Yeah. And so it's also different because like I said, as an insurance agency, I have a lot of data on my customers. And so if they hack mine, it's a lot worse than if they're hacking your system where they're just getting emails and addresses and I don't know, maybe some payment information. And so it's not quite as big of an exposure, or the whatever the breach happens for a B&B, I don't see it as being as extensive as like mine. So, I mean, for mine, I carry $1 million because if they would hack into mine, I'd have a lot of problems.
And as your client, I thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. And mine's a lot more than $400.
But I was thinking about it, and that's exactly what I was thinking, trying to see the data that I have. All of my credit card information is offline. It's with
Right.
with the credit card processor, and so it would be just personal information, emails, and that sort of thing. So.
Yeah, and how egregious, even hacking their emails, it's all, so God knows what emails, that could be potentially lost bookings, that the guest is like, oh, well, what kind of place is that? They got hacked and I'm getting these crazy emails and stuff. So, it could be, because of that, it's not to the scale of what you would be at loss, Tad, but at the same time, it goes to their online reputation.
Sure, exactly. And that's where the public relations /
Mhm.
crisis management /
Mhm.
notifications comes in.
Interesting.
Anything else?
Julie, Steve, anything else? Okay. Well, Tad, thank you so much for joining us
Yeah.
today. Like I said, I knew that these oftentimes things, let me check. Somebody put something in the chat. Let me see.
It's just thumbs up.
Oh, okay. Okay, so Julie,
Rose,
you
yeah.
have,
I
and-
just asked the question if there was anyone on the PABI list that we could talk to for their feedback
feedback on this particular
as-
ish.
as clients or subscribers of the service.
I guess I'm not following your question, Julie.
Or
I
guess
don't
more
know
for
of our
Tad.
members who have the cyber insurance that they have. I don't know that answer. Is that what you're asking of other B and Bs that
Tad
might have
mentioned-
this?
Yeah, Tad mentioned that there were other B&Bs, and I was just asking if there was anybody we could talk to for feedback on the service.
Well, I'd have to go through my book and look to see who has that coverage. Second, I haven't had a B&B cyber claim to be able to, for them to be able to comment on it. I've had it through other companies that I insure, but not with a B&B.
Tad, would you, if you went back through the books and saw, what B and Bs do carry it, are you able to share that with us? I hear where
I-
Julie's coming out. I guess, I would be curious of why they decided to take the insurance. What was their concern? Why did they have it? Now, I think Pat made some good things, so I don't know that I think we can.
I guess as long as they give me the okay, I
Okay.
wouldn't mind doing that.
All right.
So
Especially, and I'd only be interested in the PA ones and which ones of those are, of the list, the few that you have, if they're a PABI member, which makes it a little easier for us then.
got it. Yeah,
Okay, yeah, if you could share that, that'd be great.
absolutely. All
Anybody-
good?
Okay, I think we're all good.
All right. Well, it's
hopefully
good seeing everybody.
It was nice. Thank you, Tad, for having us here. So everybody enjoy the rest of their day. And this week, it's supposed to be a little cooler here in a little bit later this week. So we'll see.
Let's hope so.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Dad. Thanks,
All right.
everybody.
Have a
Bye-bye.
great week, everybody.